the Islamic Republic of Iran launched a missile at Jerusalem and parts of it fell on the Temple Mount, just a few meters from the Dome of the Rock. And not only that, parts of the same missile fell on the Church of the Holy Sepulchre complex and also nearby inside the Jewish quarter. That means an Iranian missile didn't destroy the Dome of the Rock, the Golden Dome, only thanks to Israel's intervention. Because since the beginning of this war, a little over 2 weeks ago, Iran has been indiscriminately launching missiles at Israel, prioritizing civilian areas and also holy sites. Both Jewish, Christian, and even Muslim holy sites. Since the beginning of the conflict, dozens of sirens have gone off here in Jerusalem. I mean, dozens of missiles have been launched at Jerusalem, including many specifically aimed at the old city of Jerusalem. All of this would be in ruins if it weren't for Israel's intervention, more specifically the anti-missile systems like the Iron Dome. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. An Iranian missile was launched at the city, the old city of Jerusalem. However, usually these missiles are intercepted far from the old city at a considerable distance from their target. But yesterday the system was only able to intercept it when the missile was much closer. I was actually in Jerusalem. I heard the missile explosion, and you can tell the difference when it's intercepted right above the city. So what happened? The interception of this missile happened very close to its target, and that's why, and shrapnel from this missile rained down over the old city. Mainly in 3 places. The main point was right over the Temple Mount. We are speaking just a few meters from the Golden Dome of the Dome of the Rock. That's the place where the Holy of Holies used to be, the most holy place. The place where the Ark of the Covenant was, the peak of Mount Moriah, where Abraham took the sanctified one, his son Isaac, to almost sacrifice him. We're talking about one of the most important places in the world. And just a few meters from there, these fragments fell, and they fell right next to the Dome of the Spirits, which is the only original part that survived from the time of Jesus. Jesus, from the time of the Second Temple of Jerusalem, still in the inner area of the Jerusalem Temple complex. And we can only really imagine what could have happened if this missile hadn't been intercepted by Israel. And not just that one, guys. Several of the missiles were aimed specifically at this area. We have several videos of missile interceptions right over this area. It's inconceivable what the Islamic Republic. We said that these shrapnel pieces fell on the Temple Mount right next to the Golden Dome, but I want you to keep watching. Here, exactly behind where I'm standing, we see a white dome. This is the Herva Synagogue, and right behind it is where more shrapnel from this missile fell. The Herva Synagogue is the heart of the Jewish quarter, an area where I was just one day before this shrapnel fell. And yes, it's an area where people are walking around and there are many children playing in the squares and in the streets as well.
Do bairro que não havia ninguém, que é justamente o único estacionamento do bairro judaico.
And thank God, the only thing they did was damage the cars in the parking lot. But the missile here almost hit areas where there were many people, as well as on the Temple Mount. It almost hit the Golden Dome, but it landed a few meters away. And if we keep looking, we get to this building with the 2 gray domes with crosses on top. This is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, one of the most important churches in Jerusalem and in the whole. And fragments from that same missile fell on the church complex. It's unbelievable. Thank God, not on the church itself, not on the domes, but right next to it, where the residence of the Greek Orthodox priests is, who are part of the guardians of the church. Guys, the people who are guarding the church day and night, guarding this holy and so important place, the missile fell right on their roof, thank God. There were also no injuries, so in none of the 3 places where it fell were there any injuries. Really, isn't this a miracle? We're saying that by a miracle, by just a few meters, there wasn't major damage to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And really just imagining what could have happened here in Jerusalem without the existence of the Iron Dome system. And my question is, how are these events not on the front page of every news outlet, of every newspaper in the world? Iran is attacking civilian areas indiscriminately, as they always have, but they're also attacking holy sites, Christian, Jewish, and Muslim. The physical integrity of the Temple Mount, the Dome of the Rock, is being threatened by Iran, and we saw that something shocking almost happened. And because of that, looking at the Dome of the Rock, which is still standing right now, and untouched only because of Israeli intervention. But I wonder, how is it that what happened here yesterday on March 16th, 2026, how can it be that this isn't being talked about and shouted from the rooftops all over the world? The world demanding respect for faith and for the holy city. I myself live here in Jerusalem, but in the new city. However, I had to come to the old city today, even though I hadn't planned to come. I was at home with my children, I left them with my husband, and I came here to show you what is happening. Because we are living through historic days, and it really shocks me how the world is silent or not talking about things as a whole. So many times there are so many fake news stories about what is happening, but in my opinion, the reality is much more shocking and impressive than what is actually happening now. And also maybe its connection to future events, the future of Jerusalem, and the future of the whole world. And that's why I had to come here today to tell you all this, but I also want to show you. So what I want you to do with me now is walk, and let's see exactly the place where part of the shrapnel from this Iranian missile fell. So let's walk now in Jerusalem.
Behind me are 400 truckloads of Temple Mount soil that were illegally dumped in 1999 like trash. But 2 archaeologists refused to let it disappear. They rescued the soil and created the Temple Mount Sifting Project. Today, over 500,000 artifacts have been recovered. Pottery from Solomon's temple, coins from Jesus' time, pieces of history that were meant to be lost forever. Now you can be part of this rescue mission, get authentic Temple Mount soil delivered to your door, and help keep biblical archaeology alive. Scan the QR code or use the link below.
I'm so shocked by what's happening here in Jerusalem that I even forgot to do the channel's introduction. So now I want to officially welcome everyone here. For those who don't know me, my name is Aline from the channel Israel with Aline. And what I like to do, what we do here on the channel, is to show the history and especially the biblical history of Jerusalem. But these days, without a doubt, we won't be able to talk about the past, but rather talk about the present, about what is happening right now here in Jerusalem. And maybe about the repercussions, how this will influence the future history, the future of Jerusalem, of all Israel and of the whole world. But I want to show you where we are right now. We are in the heart of the Jewish quarter of the old city of Jerusalem. This here is what's called the Herva Square. Music 2 days ago, I was here before missile fragments fell here in the old city. And look where we are. We can see the white dome behind us. That's the Herva synagogue that we were seeing from a distance. And right behind me, we can also see the golden menorah. This menorah, you can come closer to take a look. This menorah was made by the Temple Institute. The intention is for it to be placed inside the third temple of Jerusalem. And let's make it very clear that you can't believe all the fake news that goes around on the internet. All the videos that say the Temple of Jerusalem, the third temple, has already started being built, or that there's a specific date for when this will happen, and the answer is no. The construction of the temple hasn't started. There's no date for this to happen, but what has happened is that the instruments, the temple utensils, for the most part, have already been prepared. And just a few weeks ago, this golden menorah received a new layer, a new coating of gold, because it had already been made a few years ago and now it received a new coating. And that's why we can see how it's shining, how it's really ready and prepared. And looking around us here, we can see many people walking around. It's actually a bit paradoxical because at first glance it seems like nothing is happening, but actually it's quite the opposite. We are really living through decisive days in the history of Israel, Iran, and the entire Middle East. But right here behind us, just a few meters from where we are, the shrapnel from that Iranian missile fell, and some relatively large pieces landed here as well. So we're going to take the walk together to show the exact spot where the missile fell. Come with me. We're walking together from the Golden Menorah and the Herva Synagogue to the parking lot where the fragments, the remains of that Iranian missile fell. And intentionally, I'm not cutting the footage. I'm going to leave the entire walk so you can see that it's an extremely short walk. We're talking about just a few meters, a 1-minute walk, and right ahead we can already see the parking lot. And we're at the exact spot where one of the fragments of the Iranian missile fell. Exactly here, this black car was parked yesterday and the fragment fell on it. And at the moment it fell, the police came and closed off this entire perimeter because these fragments can be extremely dangerous. They may contain toxic materials and often there are explosives inside. So to prevent further damage, the police always come, inspect the area, remove all these fragments and objects, make sure there is nothing else dangerous, and then reopen the area, and this clearance is done very, very quickly. You can see that just a few hours later, we're talking less than 24 hours after the incident, and the whole area is already pretty much as it was before. We see a little bit of broken glass on the ground, but other than that, we don't see anything here. And the car, the one that was damaged, it's still here in the parking lot. In fact, they moved the car. I'll show you if you want. All of this is done because one of the types of bombs the Iranians have been using is a bomb that is illegal under most international conventions, which are cluster bombs. What they do is launch a missile, and when the missile gets close to the target, it intentionally fragments into many bombs, smaller explosives, and so instead of falling in a specific place, they spread out over many, many points and cause a lot of destruction. A cluster bomb here in the old city could really destroy centuries and millennia of history. But I want to show you the car that was right here, which was moved to the other side of the parking lot. Come with me. Iranian missiles need to travel at least 1,200 kilometers to reach Jerusalem. And depending on which area inside Iran they are launched from, that distance can exceed 2,000 kilometers. We're talking about a missile that traveled more than 1,000 kilometers and missed, in quotes, the target by just a few meters. Just a few meters from the Holy Sepulchre, from the Dome of the Rock, it also landed on the Temple Mount and here in the Jewish quarter. We really see something impressive that happened less than 24 hours ago. But the most important thing we need to remember is what is written in Psalms. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble, therefore we will not fear. The Islamic Republic of Iran, along with its terrorist allies, the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah, they will never be able to terrorize or frighten us because our faith will never be broken. Even if they try to threaten us physically, we can stand here and say that they will not be able to destroy our faith and our spirit. And thank God everything that happened here in Jerusalem in the last 24 hours caused physical damage, but no one was hurt. And we are here to ask for prayer for the peace of Jerusalem, as it is written in the Bible, for the peace of all Israel, for the peace of the entire Middle East. And that the Iranian people may finally be freed from the clutches of the Islamic Republic, which has kept them chained for 47 years. We pray and wish well for the Iranian people and their freedom, and that the whole world will become a safer and better place. As soon as the Islamic Republic and the Ayatollahs fall, and God willing, it will be soon.